So welcome, Madhukar, on
Thank
this
you.
UX India 2025. You are always a family, and we always love to have people like you contributing, working along with us, making this as a grand success. So thank you for all your so far the efforts. But we'd love to have some lot of conversations. What you are doing, what things that we are building ahead. That's the future that of UXI going forward. So
Pleasure for having me.
thank you. So, Madhukar, let's start with the first part of the question and the set of ideas. I know you're building very interesting things in the industry. So, can you just give some insight about what do you force in the industry in the design very soon? How things are changing? I know you guys are doing very interesting approach in the industries. So, please enlighten us with your ideas.
Well, I mean, more than the industry, I think I give first and foremost importance to what am I building within me, right? So I think that's very essential for all of us. With so much of the technology advances, so much of the AI influence that we have in the industry, it's very very pertinent for all of us to keep upskilling, cross skilling, sometime unskilling, right? Which is also required because the historically what worked or traditionally what worked for us a decade back or a 2 decade back doesn't mean that it'll have a forever a meaning in anything and everything that we do, right? So I think it's important for us to continue to work towards industry trends, understand it, be aware of it, and then work towards it. So coming back to your question that what are we doing, I think and I feel absolutely thrilled to witness and notice that design has a very significant role to play in anything that currently you notice in the industry, right? And the designer has a seat at the very top table. I think that's what seen Bapu also addressing it. Earlier days, design was completely towards the execution, right? So someone is coming and giving you the insights, giving you the instructions. Okay, so this is exactly what I want. Please make it interesting, right? And that was the designer's role. But that has evolved
Interesting is
over a period of
beautiful.
time. Exactly, right? So we are not just to here make things
Yeah.
prettier, right? So UX has a very interesting and important role to play because we are here to understand the experience part of it,
Absolutely.
right? And UI is an essential element of a delivery,
Anytime.
right? But that's not the first or a core of it, right? Experience is something because we always battle between the wants and the needs,
Yeah.
right? If you ask people what you need, they have plenty things to say. But you need to identify what a user needs and the wants are, then it's a very different ballgame altogether. So yes, we are navigating through that as a segment. And our designers are, trying and understanding every client's needs more than the wants. And before we sell any of our core services, it's important for us to understand the problem that they have.
Yeah.
Right? So, to simply put, we are trying our level best to understand the problem that our clients have.
Which means your designers are for frontier.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. To
Okay.
understand that, how exactly you will understand, how exactly you arrive at, okay, this is the core problem that you have. And so this is like a co-creation, collaboration effort that we have. We sync in with a bunch of team members from the client side to understand, okay, what exactly you think you are at and how exactly we can partner. So before giving them the solutioning, right? So we understand let's discuss, debate, and understand the problem areas. Because sometimes what happens is a top leadership perceive something different as a problem area. If you ask the same question to the technical team or a manager, he has completely different perspective.
Yeah, it's like blind person exploring elephant touching with the different parts.
Exactly, right? So, it's a very interesting, and of course, since we all from the design industry, design thinking as a practice. So, if you put that into practice, you explore, you do the research, you understand the persona, and then, it'll give you a lot of insights.
Yeah.
And that's a core crux of it. And one thing that I truly believe, that if you're a designer, think and act like everything is your business. Don't just mind your own business.
Absolutely. Business and design has to go hand in hand. That's where the main aspect. We heard it in the morning also with Donald.
Yeah.
He was also very much emphasizing that we are not just screen creators.
Yeah.
We are a business builder for the entire company. That's where we as a industry moving. That's great.
Yeah.
And I think, but one more thing that I remember, Madhukar, is slightly different when we used to design earlier, and the generation that is actually coming up, having some fear with AI, some are overconfident with AI.
Yeah.
And that's changing the entire business of design. Anything that you would like to share here with the things that are changing?
See, again, last year when we were interacting with, a bunch of college students, right?
Yeah.
So, they had that very eagerness to understand, how do I prepare myself? And, this is exactly what we touched upon during our UMO Grads, season also,
Yeah.
right? And all of them has great ideas, no doubt about it. And they are very eager to step into the corporate world. And some of them wants to establish their own businesses. So, definitely I could say entrepreneurial, that hunger, right? I want to do something. I want to create something. I want to give back to the society in a different way. And of course, because the student, when I say student, of course, these are not the only student from the college outs, right? So some of these individuals or professionals who wanted to shift their career from X to Y, and at the mid-level, they wanted to take that, plunge and move from X job role to the design role. So they were like, what do I do now? Okay, should I do a certification? Do I need to, focus on the human-centered design? Do I need to, take up XYZ certification? So a lot of prominence was on the certification. Which certification has more value?
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
End of it, who will hire me if I have what certification, right? So, what majority of the industry leaders, because, the UMO Grad was, very interesting initiative by UX India, which primarily focused on teaching the industry trends, not the certification part of it, right? All of us as a different, industry leaders who, took a part of in this, they spoke and they taught a particular subject of areas of expertise, right? Everyone brought something very different to these people. So, we taught them, the psychology part of it. We talked, about design thinking aspects of it. They talk about entrepreneurship. They talked about visual design. So very different areas, right? I think end of it, everyone had, a good idea about what's happening in and around. Now, last leg of it is the AI part, right? As they say, you need to be aware, right? Whether AI is a friend or a foe, time will tell. But apply it with certain responsibility, because now we are not just talking about, okay, which AI tool that I need to learn. You need to be more mindful about what kind of a privacy, what kind of a legality, what kind of a ethics will come into picture, right? So if you are designing, AI, a code or an app, think about, what kind of a responsibility, you have.
Absolutely.
Right? So a small ignorance can cost or lead into very, very situational kind of a hazard. So I think, yes, AI is a very, very interesting field. I would love to explore, every day on this. At least, half an hour to 45 minutes, I keep reading what the industry trends are.
Yes.
Because you need to be aware of those things, right?
Yeah, I think, but the fundamental things are still there. I mean, ethics are more relevant now when AI in picture, but that was there earlier as well with a different shell. Even the technology, agility, which is emphasized well because of the AI, things are moving very fast because of AI. But that was there, and that was also a core part of this. Only thing which I see with AI is something. Earlier we were having maybe a 4 legs animal. Now we are having rocket, jet, working at the pace that we want. Earlier have a lot of ideas, but I don't know how to do it. Being a designer, I don't know how to convert that ideas into product. Now I know just by the vibe coding things, people are able to do it, and we want that. I mean, I was having a very similar conversation with Aditi today, and Aditi was also mentioning that, boss, we need a good designers, and she used a very specific word that's about, we need people, a designer who will be able to cover a lot of different grounds with the different ideas. It's just not about the screens, it's not about the concepts, it's about converting that ideas into products,
Right.
show that it is making sense to the business, make people buy your ideas, and if they are not buying or they are not getting convinced whether it is going, that's where the designers have to convert that into product, get the quick buy-ins from the people. That's the beauty of the new age designer that happening, and that's changing now.
Absolutely.
You already mentioned about this UM activities, also discussed about the designers, I mean the leads, the UMO leads league that we have.
Correct.
Anything that would like to share more which was discussed in the, and this is purely for people, so UMO has a lot of people as a leads in the industry in India and abroad who are actually constantly contributing and designing and envisioning things in the industry, and that's where people like Madhukar are actually one of the team members there, and we would like to have something going out in the industry, let people know what we are thinking as a leads in org.
Absolutely. So when lead as an idea, it started 3 years back when we met at one of the UX India conference. I think it happened at the same place.
Yeah.
And we were debating about the challenges that we have in our own spaces, right? And when we did a workshop around it, we came together with a bunch of verticals. And then we decided that, okay, so, of course, yes, we're dealing with the multifaceted, the culture. So that is also one thing that we need to be mindful. Second one is, the talent. Okay, so how exactly we need to, account that. And the third one is probably some of the challenges or emerging industry trends, right? All of these, we accounted, and then we were like, okay, so what do we call this as an initiative? And then, we debate about different, names, and, that's where the lead came into picture, because we need to lead by example. We need to lead the industry. We need to lead ourselves. So, and that stuck, right? That's very interesting, And as lead, today morning also I touched upon, so lead stands for learning. E for enabling. Third one, which is the A, stands for advancing, and the D is, of course, designing it. So, and with that, we just kickstarted. We started connecting with a bunch of, the industry leaders, and we kept on connecting at the very regular interval. And two emerging themes that, today morning also we had a very close room session. Two key things which came up as considerations. Design leadership.
Okay.
Second one is design entrepreneurship. Wow. And that's the theme of the UX India, right? And you'll hear more about this. We are having a very detailed workshop tomorrow as well. Okay. And we will share the outcome of it, probably second half of it. So look forward for that.
Yeah.
Very interesting things are emerging. And see, the idea is to extend all the possible support that we can as a UX India platform to every individual who come as a participant every single year with certain expectations.
Of course.
Right? So what do I want from this industry? What do I look forward from all the topics that I'm going to hear from a couple of days? And the last leg of it is, how do I give back to this community as well?
Yes.
Right?
That's
And that's exactly what we are. And the learning doesn't stop at the entry level. We all need learning, constant learning. So we are coming up with a 3 leg of a learning also. What a student look for in learning, what a mid a career professional look for a learning, upskilling, and those who are at the final journey, final leg of their very top leadership level of roles in the design leaderships, where you want to invest your time in upskilling yourself, which area that is. Right?
Absolutely.
So that is exactly what we were discussing, and there are very, very experienced people. Some have taken a very bold step to move away from a 9 to 5 kind of a job profile to 24/7, which is establishing your own
Yeah.
a startup. So I think that's the best part of it. So stay tuned, and I'm going to touch upon the same thing in tomorrow, one of my a panel discussion also, where I will be interviewing a bunch of panelists who and couple of them are have started their own startups. Very interesting, very diverse kind of startups. And at this platform, when we say a design entrepreneurship does not limit to establishing or starting your own design studio. No, we're not only talking about it. It could be any business. But imagining a designer investing in understanding the business versus a business person want to start a business.
Yeah, at any time better. Yeah, of course.
Right? So, designer, the way they think is completely different. And that's exactly differentiate between the design people or a design background, professional starting up their own journey into entrepreneurship versus, a family-led businesses
Anytime.
or, any investment as a business. So, the whole point is identify the problem area, right? And whenever you identify anything as a problem area, that's an opportunity. And that's exactly a first step, because you want to cater to that area, and if you have an idea, you establish that area.
Absolutely.
Right? So that will give a next path.
I think the level of empathy that designers are having towards employees, to people, to a customer, to our users on the digital journeys or the physical journeys, that no one can have as a profession, be it a businessman. And of course, there are people with the businesses having that as a sense, but converting that sense into design ability is something only designers can do that. And that's the basic skills. I can say these are the things that we are born, brought up, and we are blooming with these skills. And that's the best part, that we always want our designers to be a next level entrepreneurs. It's just not only, as you said, it's just not only having your own businesses. Sometimes it's just be a part of the business, which will also support the business at a different level altogether.
Absolutely. And just to build on that, right? So, not just establishing or starting up a new venture, but many of us, we are part of the corporate, right? We are leading our own service lines. We are leading our own functions. Now, that also require entrepreneurial mindset.
Absolutely.
Because you need to think like an entrepreneur, because it's a business end of a day, you are running. What kind of areas that you want to identify, how exactly you're dealing with the clients, how exactly you understand the the P&L.
Absolutely.
Are you good to read the the P&L statement? Do you understand the EBITDA? So if you're a designer, don't limit yourself to design, right? Our core job is to deeply understand the problem and explain that problem in a simplest form.
Of course,
Right?
that's very true, very
Yeah,
true,
yeah.
very true. Be it, and I just recollect, be it on the consulting role or be it on the a design head role, you're always answerable to business.
Yeah.
And business understands certain languages.
Correct.
And honestly, if you're a good designer, those language really doesn't matter. You can learn that. The only thing that business need to cope up with the design is to get the translations out, and that's beauty.
Yeah.
That you already mentioned, Madhukar. It was very fantastic discussion that we had today, and I just pass on to you for the closure note. Please, what's it is?
No, I think every time I join the UX India conference, it's like amazing experience. It's always a pleasure to share a dais and share the stage with people like you and such a talent outside. Everyone has something to give back to the community, and it's always great energy, and knowledge is enormous, right? Experience is enormous. And it's not that people here always come and share their only the success story, right? I get to hear things that didn't work. Bapu always talk about the bad
Absolutely.
design. We started with that, right? Last year we started with a portfolio review, and hats off to everyone who took that courage, because how many of us will say yes, open my portfolio,
public critic.
exactly, and now let me know what you think about it. And I think that's a very, very brave step, and we really appreciate people coming forward and extending their contributions. And I wish every participant all the very best.
Yes.
And every student good luck in their next journey, whether it is in the field of design, or those who are aspiring from mid-level to the senior level design entrepreneurial journey, or you are elevating yourself within your own organization to the leadership roles. All the very best. And UX India will always be a platform where it will try its level best to cater to everyone who's looking what's in it for me. So there is something for everybody here.
Fantastic. One last question. You just have to say in that camera and tell us, how will you describe UX India 2025?
I think
In one word.
In one word? Okay. Evolving.
Perfect.
Probably that one word that I will use, because we all are evolving through a different journey.
Super.
Different journeys, and the AI is coming. We are looking into it with a very curious mind. So yes, we are evolving constantly.
Absolutely. That's really, really good one. I think you concluded the entire journey in one word. That's the beauty of you, Madhukar. You have a very base philosophical thought process, probably, that gives you a lot of words. Thank you so much for joining us here for the discussion.
Pleasure is always mine. Thank you for having me. Thank you.